Actually, I've
I
been,
understand your-
don't get me wrong, I've been out there 2 in the morning, so
Hours of
I
operation aren't
can
in
document
this
that.
section.
No.
Yeah, hours of operation aren't in this section.
No, I know, they're not in this one, but they were in one that we already went over
Yeah.
before. And I wanted to ask them, but we just
Yeah.
didn't get to it, so I was
But
just
that
using this
that
as
would
an
be the
example.
idea behind it, yeah.
I understand it's not in this one, but just in general, I'm just saying.
Correct. Yeah,
So
you're correct.
there is a point that it does, like you were just saying, you can't expand the hours,
You can't expand your.
but you
yeah,
can't limit
You
him.
can't, what he's doing now, you can't limit that. Yeah. Okay. What's that? It's, yeah, yeah. All those are already on.
Yeah, it was probably a bad example to use.
No, I
It was just
understand.
because
Yeah,
we were
I
on this,
I
and
think we
wanted
should
to ask
eliminate
you.
that. I think we should eliminate those hours of use.
Lie down back there.
Because the more I sit here and I think about that, that means you're now impacting the potential growth of a business
Yep.
and the financial income of that owner. That's not what zoning's about. So you can tell me where my building has to be, and you can tell me how far I need to be off the road, but you can't tell me how to operate my business. So if I need to be in there working till 2 in the morning, or let's say, I mean, he has 2 sons, and if he wants to eventually, and I'm just thinking myself or him or whoever, we have a business, we want to add an evening shift or a night shift on, you know, that's just going to increase the value of their business. It's going to be a great asset for them. So why are we sitting here as a zoning board trying to tell them how to operate their business?
And where does it stop? Then you got regulate.
all the time.
I just think that's something that's went a little too far. It's almost like the nuisance thing.
Are you,
Okay.
Sherry, this was one of my examples, one of the very first meetings was when Carolyn was saying about where compressor stations could go. I said, what if I'm a family farm, that I am going to lose everything if I don't sell this land to the compressor station, and it's not where it's zoned to go? She said, well, too bad, it would have to come before, and if they don't approve it, you don't get it. So that's the basis of the whole thing, that's at issue.
Pretty soon it's gonna be like you got, or the zoning people are gonna tell you how to live, when you can breathe, when you can go to sleep, when you get up. It's gonna tell you everything.
Private property ownership is the hallmark of America, all over the planet, only us. Right to keep and bear arms and individual liberty and freedom. All of them are violated with all of these zoning ordinances.
Michael, do you agree with that about the hours of operation? I don't think that's a zoning thing, do you? Is that a zoning?
It was in something we went over before.
I know.
It's typically in the supplemental regulations of a township code.
Okay.
So, to answer your question, a lot of townships do regulate operating hours of businesses, if that's your question. Whether Donald will choose to do so or not, that's what's,
Okay.
but yeah.
by your definition, it's to promote the development and the growth of the township, right?
In a manner that you want it to. I mean, that's the idea. I mean, different townships want their property and their, again, Donegal looks different than Independence. Independence looks different than Hopewell. Hopewell looks different than Canton. Canton looks, I mean, than Peters, whatever. It's how the people want it to look like. That's what your zoning reflects.
I think the problem with that statement is that Donegal Township is not opting for all of that, but the supervisors are the
And,
ones
no,
that opt
okay, I
for
understand
that.
that. We can't keep going over that.
And
This is
it-
what's in front of us.
it-
We waste
it's the
hours
genesis
every
of
time.
the entire thing, it's
Okay.
never gonna go away.
Okay,
Why don't people get a chance to
All right.
vote on that, turn it down? Yeah.
that's not for me to decide. All right, so can we go on to adult uses?
It's not our call.
Moving
Being given the task of-
Yeah, we're being tasked to do a zoning ordinance.
So we're trying to do our
That's
best
what we're trying to go
make-
through.
to work through.
Those questions, those responses, not in front of this board.
That's the supervisor.
Okay, so adult-oriented establishments, I'll open up to the planning commission members first.
Anybody have any comments?
I mean, I guess I'll make just a couple comments. One of the questions was brought up about 1,000 feet from each other. I looked into that, I didn't do a lot of work on this, obviously, since the last one, but I did look into a couple things, you know, the permit. And one of the issues, because I knew this was an actual cleanup, was the.
Eddie at home.
Yeah. 1,000 feet, they, but, so basically, what the idea behind the business is not to have kind of a, skid road, and basically, those walls called an anti-skid road, you know, so that you didn't have a connection. You know, some places want all the bad stuff, full of bad stuff, or these types of establishments in one area. Others don't want a designated area where there's a bunch of that going on, because then it tends to attract, you know, other activities associated with, you know, those businesses. So they're called anti-skid row. They have been upheld, so the 1,000 feet, you're already talking about that. Now, again, that doesn't mean we have to have that. You know, maybe you guys decide, you know, the board decide, and with the feedback, that if we are gonna have some of these, we want them, you know, we don't want them, you know, being all throughout town, we'd rather have it kind of centered on one area. That's, you know, some places put everything in one, some don't have that, they have the long thing, the large setbacks. So, but I did look into that question, because I was curious about it as well, and it has been, those have been brought up, and those have been challenged previously, and those have been upheld by the court as being okay.
What has been held up and is okay?
Either limiting it to a certain area, or having, as it states right now, there, you can't be 1,000 feet from another one of these. So an adult-oriented business has to be 1,000 feet away from another one. So again, the idea behind that was so that you don't have all of them collection in one area, because the law is.
Let's put them all down by Jill.
Is not having them in existence at all an option?
No, you can't.
You can't do that.
That's called discrimination, Frank.
So you have to provide.
We're trying to county, that's discrimination, right?
No, that's a fallacy, Frank. We have to allow booze in too, if we do zoning.
So with that in mind, that was the idea behind, because I know, I forget who it was. I don't know.
That was me.
Yeah, brought that up. Now, again, so that doesn't mean you have to have that, but that was the idea behind that type of setback. And it has been upheld previously.
Stick them in petrol.
Do you want 1,000? Are you happy with
I
that?
want 1,000 feet. I want what I've seen before.
That if it's an either or, it's a designated area in my opinion. Stick them in petrol.
Put them in Blaisdell exit.
Put them on anyway.
With 1,000 feet, so you're saying 1,000 feet apart from a like establishment?
Yes.
So by doing that, you're expanding the footprint of the area that those places are allowed. Wouldn't-
That's the idea. Do you want to?
Wouldn't it be better to have it more concentrated in a smaller area?
Well, that doesn't mean, that doesn't mean it would be, it just means it could be.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you know, it could be. They could still go every, you know, a mile apart or more than 1,000 feet apart. But it's just if you have the 1,000-foot requirement, they can't be any closer than that. So
But
it
that-
doesn't mean it would concentrate it, it just would mean there would be the possibility that it could concentrate it. And there are places that encourage that.
No, that's what I'm saying, by being 1,000 feet, wouldn't it, okay, say if you're gonna have, say, 3 of these like businesses in the township, wouldn't you rather have them all together
There's
than,
certainly a school of thought that says that.
Yeah,
But
some
you can't
want that, some
require
don't.
that you
That's the
can,
issue.
Yeah,
you know.
because they could build anywhere. That doesn't mean the piece of property in there is gonna come up for sale. They may.
They may, it's
Yeah.
just, you can possibly have them, you know.
You wanna keep them in a strip of.
Just- You're guaranteeing they won't be any
Yeah.
closer than 1,000 feet apart if you have that requirement.
Yeah,
I think.
strip of area.
And that's what we're debating, which is.
Makes them easier to find.
If I wanted to open up a red light shop or a pawn shop, what's the procedure?
It's right here.
Right here.
Okay, no, wait.
Licensing
So I
and
approach you guys?
Yes.
Okay, so I present you my business plan, I said, this is what I want to do, blah, 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 blah. Who makes the decision? People here that are listening to me,
Well,
or just you?
this is a conditional use.
Either.
That proposed use is a conditional use, so under the proposal right now, A, it would have to be in a mixed-use zone, first of all. So you'd have to,
Okay, yeah, I
okay.
mean,
So if you can meet the provisions here, there would be a conditional use hearing. So it goes to the planning commission and then the board. Those are all, then you have to have a conditional use in front of the board, a public hearing. So the public can come and give comment before a decision is made. But if you can meet the conditions established here, you would then be able to operate it.
And the public be damned if they said, no, we don't want
They can't do it.
You can't.
They can't. Frank, let me give you an example, Frank. You weren't here. When Dollar General wanted to come in,
you. Yep,
this room was full.
yep.
People didn't want it, but there was nothing, and there was a lot of the board members that said they didn't want it at the time. But there's nothing you can do about it. You have to, it's a guaranteed right.
Reasonable conditions.
Am I right, Jody? It's a guaranteed right.
You can put reasonable conditions.
Conditions.
On.
As long as they meet those, that's it.
But if they can meet those, and if they can't meet those, then they would have to ask for, a variance or a
Variance.
waiver, whatever.
Which can
wherever
be
put in there.
refused, and that would,
No, they can be refused.
yeah, what I just said.
So, I guess if this type of, then they would have a chance to appeal it,
They
correct?
go to civil
But
court,
that's basically the idea behind it.
and all the lawyers get rich.
Yeah, they're not gonna fight it because there's no point in it.
You can restrict it as much as you legally can.
Correct.
I would just,
Making it 8 miles,
Well,
and there ain't enough room to put 2 of them in. We just get one, that's it.
Unless they, can you,
in a business like that, they're gonna set up along the highways. I mean,
We
that's
could
just,
restrict the size of the
You
establishment,
can't
couldn't
do
we?
that.
what's that?
We could restrict the size of the establishment, couldn't we?
no,
No?
no.
It's called a
I
free
mean, you could, any regulation that you do, you have to be able to.
He's really on the
defend
school
it,
board.
and there's a different test. So, maybe there's a limit to how big that can be, that based on
I just gave him
the,
an
you could do studies
Pretty dope,
based
I
on
thought.
it, yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's
but-
my understanding, we can limit the size of our barns. We can limit the size of our, well, according to some of the argument that was here in the previous zoning ordinance meetings I've been to, that there were some barn limitations, that if you wanted to add another barn, you were limited, so that there is a precedent where there are limitations for the building itself. And that's all, that was my question.
About 25 years ago, or 30 years ago, there was a fear of McDonald's establishment was coming in. Township at that time enacted the ordinances in place. It must have worked, because it went someplace else. They didn't come here.
Right.
So whatever it is, whether it's 1,000 feet apart or not, I don't think this area is real conducive. The technology's probably changed to such.
So that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's not,
I think it was about 40 years ago, Doug, and I know,
well, it may have been that long, Mike.
because it was when they put the trucks,
It was a long time
it was,
ago.
did something to do with the truck stop. Somebody was,
And they were afraid of that, that's what they did. The truck stop did have the red light district.
yeah.
You fellows, my age and older, know that.
why don't you enlighten us, Doug?
I was too young at the time to visit it, but it was there.
He's heard all the stories about lot lizards.
They actually had steps built up
How
to
do you
Kenny
know
Howard's
all
house,
this?
didn't they? You knew that.
Seriously?
Seriously.
I don't remember.
And then, okay, and then I know there's,
Red light, green light.
I know
Really?
there's some-
let's go on.
I know there are some questions about the licensing procedure. I also looked into that some, not fully, but I did start looking into that. Again, court cases have been upheld that if it's reasonable, if they're appropriate mechanisms, so different aspects of this that are being required.
So even though
If
nobody else
they're-
has to pay an investigative fee, you
Correct,
guys do?
because it's related to these type, if you can, you have to be able to defend it, and townships, municipalities have been taken to court. They've been able, so again, it's one of those things where, does the township want to take that stand and have to defend that? Or we'll deal with that bridge if it ever comes up, I don't know. But, again, I know the lady in the back had a comment about eliminating, or the business hours, a question about that and how she didn't think that was fair. This one has a 10 AM to 10 PM, and again, just to get back to it, those were challenged, I checked that as well, and again, reasonable standards, reasonable requirements, they were able to uphold that, regulation on how long they could operate. That doesn't mean Donegal has to limit it to 10 to 10, it doesn't mean you have to limit it at all, but courts have been, it has been challenged before in front of the courts. That doesn't mean it couldn't get challenged again, and you could lose, because, law changes from time to time, but
Actually-
some of the stuff that's in here, I did look into, because I thought some of it was a little overreaching, or it raised some questions to me. Why is it for this, but not for other ones? But again, it keeps coming down to, if you, there's a test, and if you can prove that test, and from what I see, most of this stuff, I didn't go through everything yet, because I wanted to hear about the feedback, and I didn't know if anyone would even want to do this, so I didn't want to spend a ton of time on it, but most of these things, such as background checks, the time, the setbacks, the 1,000 feet, those things have been challenged, and they've been upheld by courts. as being reasonable.
Background check.
Do we have on the books now a time for operation, you know, 8 to 8 or whatever it is, of an establishment right now? Do we have that right now?
You mean as an adult uses or in general?
No, any establishment,
No, I don't think
No,
so.
because the BP's open 24/7.
No, you're talking about.
Exxon's
just in
always
general?
been
No, I
open.
don't think so.
No.
No, no.
Well, BP, yeah, it's always been.
I mean, if I ask Ed to be a friend, I gotta get to work tomorrow and my muffler's gone and we open up his shop at 10 o'clock at night, he can do that without any kind of, okay, that's all.
For now.
Right, well, that's where I'm going to with all of this, you know, I voice things because I want the words out there, because too many people go, oh yeah, I understand, and I have no idea what they just said.
And what's being proposed, my understanding is there was not an hours of operation for a junkyard limitation on here.
I have a question.
Any more questions? We've got a few.
On the adult businesses,
That's where I'm at.
what's considered an adult business?
You have to look at the definitions.
Anything short of a brothel, how's that?
Well, no, the reason I'm asking is, didn't they just pass where gas stations can sell 6-packs in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
So if the Exxon wants to do that, is it to become an adult business
Yeah,
and
that's not
Dry.
an adult business.
Bottom's dry,
So we're.
regardless of that.
They can go dry too, but you can sell beer.
Oh, that was actually my
They
question.
can't change what's done, you can change it then.
So did you look at our definition?
Change it by putting it on.
it's
We don't have a
unconstitutional?
definition.
It's unconstitutional.
Well, that's what I
I
have.
read a lot
That was
about
part
that.
of my. That was our next question. It doesn't have a definition.
What?
Adult establishment, what is adult
picked this
establishment?
guy.
It says, see the specific terms within the Township Code, Chapter 5.
And then refer to Township Code Chapter 5.
That's the one though that they took out, we're putting it in here.
There you go.
Let's move it around.
So there's a few different types.
You might be picking up again as we go.
I can't hear, there's too many people talking.
Yeah, let's keep moving it along. Everything always gets back.
So there's adult arcades, adult bookstores, adult cabaret, adult motion picture theater, an adult theater.
Boys, escorts, escort
Yeah, nude model studio, an escort agency, a sexual encounter center.
Sexual Encounter Center. Never heard that before.
sexually oriented business.
That would be the red light, green light?
Yeah, so I think we,
CB shop?
so yeah, I mean, that's what leaves it, pretty much everything under the sun.
Well, the only thing is like on page 22, it says, refer to chapter 5 of the township code, that needs to be taken out.
Yeah.
Include it. Yeah, and then in the end, the adult oriented establishment in the definitions just says refer back to chapter 5.
Yeah,
It's
and-
kind of in a little circle there.
Well, yeah, and again, I think what I just did was just take that in
Yeah.
until we get feedback.
Right, so we don't have to worry about the CD-ROM anymore.
And I think under the Pennsylvania code,
Home reference, so you can say, oh, you know, back in April of 2017.
I think those definitions are what the Pennsylvania code refers to as well.
Yeah, but, yeah, Yeah.
No, I meant.
yeah, we're getting to that.
Alright, so we'll incorporate those. We'll obviously eliminate the chapter 5 reference. Okay, did,
I have a question. F2, where it goes down and it talks about each individual who has a 20% or greater interest in the business must sign the application for a license as an applicant.
mhm.
Is that getting a little
Mm-hmm.
too deep into somebody's business? I'm just asking.
No, yeah, I mean, I guess playing devil's advocate to that counter argument, you wanna know who, again, the law is, case laws
That's what I was asking.
comes out basically that because of this type of business, you can ask those questions to find out who is operating them, who is running them, so anyone that has a you know, I guess the cutoff is, they picked here in this one 20%, you know, as if you have that type of ownership in it, we wanna know that you're one of the owners, so that someone that couldn't meet these things, or someone that has a, I guess, quote unquote, bad track record, couldn't be an owner, and but have someone else also be a joint owner, and they're the front man that comes and does all this. I guess that's kind of that's the idea behind
To
it.
prevent the
Yeah,
shell.
Just for this type of thing.
Shouldn't it be,
that's just for this.
Just for this, yeah.
Because it tends to attract.
On page 27,
That
on
makes
number
sense.
7 then.
That'd be
just
an
be a
applicant
majority
or
owner?
person
That
residing
would
in
have a smoke shop be
And that really,
Number 7.
Yeah, number
Yeah, that's
seven.
what
just sex.
yeah, because.
I understand if you have a business, but
So that's saying that.
So I mean, again, I guess
So
it's, can you have your
Kathy owns
wife, or can you have
20%.
your kid, then be the applicant? I guess that's kind
but
of what that's
you have
trying
to
to.
approve all that stuff before that though.
It
So
says
you can be a
resident
part of the business
applicant
as long as they don't live with you is the problem.
or
So in
the
my
person
opinion, it's,
would
what's-
reside.
yeah, who
So
resides.
for instance, if
Yeah, I
Kathy
see
owns
what you're
20%, she also has to list her husband who isn't even on the business because he lives with her.
No, that's not true.
No, is that not how that reads?
I don't know how it reads, but that's what.
I mean, well,
No, I see what you're saying, yeah,
On
you-
page
yeah.
23, number
No, I-
23,
7.
number 7.
No, and I think that's I think that is the idea behind it, that is if you're, let's say your husband violated this, under a previous license, but is it for violating?
But at least it's residing, it doesn't say married, it doesn't say,
Yeah, again,
Oh,
yeah,
I see how it reads.
your
I just-
tenant,
Yeah.
your roommate.
maybe my best friend is in it, who knows?
I think 20% is rather high. Most things we've been involved with is always if you have 5% ownership or more. So why are we sitting here at 20%? If you want to own something like this and you want 5% interest or more, then you should have your name on a piece of paper that shows that you're behind this and not be trying to say, oh, I'm going to be a silent partner and I'm only going to take
Ownership.
15%.
Take responsibility.
That's right. Because there's a lot of shady people out there, and I think once we get this passed, right now, as it stands, anybody can come in and set one up. But you get this passed, I think it should be 5% interest, indirect or direct interest. Or greater.
Either way.
Either way,
I don't have anything.
Is that?
and take out the 20%.
Changing that?
So, because your indirect interest will fall under if you're living with somebody. That could be the indirect interest.
Fireworks stores.
I mean, do we just wanna say?
If someone
each-
tries to set up a
Anyone who
limited
has
partnership.
interest in it, I mean, if you really wanna get to that point, again, just playing devil's advocate, what I would do is that I would own less percentage when we came through to apply, and then after we got the application, then they would transfer me over. So I would just say anyone owning an interest in the business.
Okay, I think that's fair,
August road.
because that's, you're right, they could change your interest. And you don't always know when that happens, so.
Anyone who owns any interest in the
So what are you doing, eliminating a percentage?
No.
Just anyone that owns, yeah, just not putting a number.
I, was my first question, how do you determine 15,
Yeah,
17, 22?
Yep,
It should be set up in your LLC.
well, yeah, they would determine it.
Well,
In the
we're not
corporation.
Wall Street, we're not,
But you'd have to be if you're gonna open
If you, yeah. if you
an
live
adult
in-
oriented establishment.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to show that you have to show your financing, everything.
So, okay on that, then 7, we still have a question on, I guess, so the question is it even worth having in there, is that kind of the question?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's, yeah, you know what I mean?
wait a minute.
Is it just the person residing with the applicant, is that the nature of your
Yeah,
concern?
because if they're part of the business, that already was solved by changing number 2.
What would be the purpose for forcing a name on an ownership document based on a percentage, based on a living arrangement? I mean, somebody actually took the time to compose all of these words, to say what they say, which we're now trying to figure out what in the world were they talking about. But what would be the purpose? What is the advantage to anybody, the tax collector, the township, or whomever, to force a percentage of ownership on a business mirrored by
It's
the
not
fact
forcing
that
a percentage of ownership on business.
This is what we do. If a guy's a pimp,
Yeah.
okay, he has an establishment,
Yeah.
he gets busted.
Yeah.
His wife can't open another one for him to be a pimp again. You get the concept?
And this only pertains to this.
Yeah, this only pertains to this thing, Frank.
It only, yeah.
Is that right, Chair?
Different than
Okay, that's what
anything.
I,
And then a lot
that
of
was on that page.
And again, yes.
It sounds to me like the guy who's got the 80%, he gets
Well,
busted.
then get off the 20, let's get off the 20%.
Whatever.
We change it. If you own any type of.
The cohabitator can then be the owner of the
Well,
business, and it
so that would be the
keeps on
reason,
keeping on.
well, that would be the reason to keep 7 in.
Yeah.
That would be the argument for keeping 7 in, is that so that,
Right.
So by
If I-
eliminating it altogether, if he gets busted, it's done.
no, by eliminating it, if he gets busted, hypothetically, his wife could then go, as long as he didn't have any ownership interest in the business, or his child, but if he, they live with him, then that would trigger number 7, and they would be in violation.
We need
So, I
to.
mean, my thought would be,
Seven there.
would they, if they wanted to open one, would they report that? No, but at least I would keep it in there because.
Because you're now useless
Yeah.
law.
They haven't had any permits now. I have another one.
Yep.
Page 26.
Yep.
Under inspection, which I don't think I'm an inspector, but an applicant or licensee shall permit authorized township officer. What, I mean, like,
Actually, I did look at that too.
Where you at, Tammy?
I'm pretty sure, and I'll double check this today.
26H.
We know that.
H.
They're talking about inspection.
Okay.
yeah.
I actually,
This crowd.
I'm pretty sure, and I'll double check this, I think they can do unannounced searches. The law has been upheld that they can do unannounced searches of these type of business establishments.
I just didn't know.
Because I know there was a question about how, with, I don't know if it was the auto mill, or, talked about, you can come during my hours, or we could set something up. We didn't want to just have them carte blanche come in, but I know that, again, that doesn't mean that we have to have that in here, but I did a quick
I
look.
just wasn't sure. if
Yeah, they're set up like
township
OSHA.
office-
They
Yeah,
can
the
go in.
question was
Does that
authorized
mean
township
like,
officers.
does that mean like a supervisor officer? Does that mean like a police officer or?
Or does that mean the road crew?
I think well, again, I think it would be that if the supervisor has authorized an individual
Okay.
to do that, typically it would be, those duties would be with the code enforcement, would be with the zoning officer.
I just didn't know if that should be more of a, like, should it be the code, like, should it say?
So do we just want to say
Zoning officer
permanent
didn't take his
township
mother with him.
designated?
He wouldn't be
Yeah,
allowed
I would-
in.
that would be better, instead of just leaving it, like, you don't want to send the road, let me send the road.
The road crew.
Check that out today.
Yeah, we're just inspecting.
Yeah, yeah, you don't want to go, I just wanted to, yeah, you know.
So wait, so if we went the way
That
of
should
West
be an
Virginia
authority
with the little
figure is what
slots
we're
part,
saying,
that would be-
and it should have good documentation with it.
The planning commission solicitor, I think, is what.
Yeah, but some of these games like pornographic.
We can put that in there, but there's no fee. There.
A buffet one
I
time.
can leave from here.
Walk around the machines, they're a little graphic
I know it's
sometimes.
gonna close soon, so.
Now, well, I have a question.
You get a permit.
If we, I don't know, we're trying to think ahead, right? Isn't that what this is about?
Sort of.
If we go the way of West Virginia and have the little slots parlors, is that part of this?
Did you say slots?
Yeah, not
Okay.
sluts, slots parlors.
Well, you're going from one thing to another, I
That's
thought.
not a use that's approved, so we don't, that wouldn't be in here.
That would be something you'd have to adopt.
We'd have
It,
to-
it wouldn't fall under adult uses, I guess is what he's getting.
As of right now, no, but I
It
don't
would-
know how the law would technically be.
Well,
written.
nobody under 18's allowed in them.
What's that?
The slot parlor.
Again, I don't know what the West Virginia code, how they define that, but
You'd have to pay
no,
for
that
what the
wouldn't
state
fall under
did.
this right now. Unless, when the state passed that, they specifically made that.
There's actually been talk of that.
Well, no, I'm not saying they won't pass that, I'm saying, I don't think they would pass it so that it's gonna be defined to fall under an adult-oriented business, I guess is what I'm saying. It could fall under something of that nature.
They just passed a nuisance ordinance. This is getting to be a nuisance.
What, Michael, what about, and it shouldn't, but Doug said that the township's dry, right? Well, what if they, what designates that anyway? What, like, is he still here?
We're dry.
I mean, what, who regulates that, or how's that?
It's citizenry.
It's what?
It's people here, they can put it on the ballot and vote on it. It can pass.
I mean, that's, I mean, how's that regulated? What, because my next question
It's just not lawful. We never went wet after, but drive back into the.
I thought that
20s,
changed with the Legions when it.
Yeah, but under zoning, you have to provide a place for a bar, right?
that's exactly what I was getting
Yeah,
at.
that's the point. You can't zone them out.
That's where I was going with that, because if you have a bar, if you serve alcohol, you have to be 21, you have to be adult to enter, right?
No,
Or they serve alcohol,
not if you serve food.
if.
I'll serve food.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't, we'd have to look at that.
Now we got wieners on our rollers.
With what Donald officially has, we can look into that, but I don't know that.
You know what I'm saying there, that could be,
But I don't know what has been.
and like Eddie brought up, since they just changed the liquor laws. What's that?
It would be the least profitable bar in the world.
I don't know, Fry's made a living for a long time.
That's it.
So we can sell,
That's how all that
Any
stuff
other
comes in.
questions on
you can't serve.
adult businesses?
Also self-serve.
Um, the limitation on operating hours, 10 to 10,
Yeah.
and you said it has to be reasonable. That's not reasonable operating hours for those type of establishments, nor,
Speaking from experience, Jay?
no, I would think, I would, no,
Yeah, we don't get out of the township, you don't have to go.
now think about this. Why would you want them open during family hours? During school hours, during, you know what I mean? Like typically, those type establishments
10 a.m.
are, you know, don't open till afternoon or evening or something, and then open,
Till close.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they
if
keep
if you wanna
bar
keep your
hours.
kids out,
6 to 2.
Yeah.
Like that, how many
and wouldn't that be regulated by the state or not? I'm sorry, I'm on page 22-6.
So I know,
Sorry.
I know what you're talking about.
He's talking about 10 a.m.
That's,
You could have the
it's not reasonable hours, and it's not,
When they go.
I would say that probably those type of people have more than one job, so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're all.
But you wouldn't want them open, I wouldn't think you'd want them open during, I
You have to
mean,
have them over happy hour.
Well, you could, because then there'd be nobody there.